Today, I had the pleasure of sitting down with James Loveday from Support Navigator. He's a public speaker, an autodidact. He's a fellow father and neurodivergent like myself, and we dove really deep into, I guess, behind the minds of myself and James Loveday and how we would think as fathers, entrepreneurs, dads, and we really just dove deep, and it was all in all just a really genuine and open and heartfelt conversation where we understand that there's a lot of participants, but there's also a lot of providers in this sector that are maybe struggling with neurodivergency or going through things, and we just wanted to be open and dive into the minds of how we think so that you can kind of have some things to relate to as well. And maybe if you're not neurodivergent, maybe it will be an eye-opener for you to see how we think and how we operate, and maybe some of the things that are going through our heads from time to time basis as fathers, as entrepreneurs. So without further ado, I'd love to dive straight into the podcast. We'll see you on the other side. Cool. So I guess, I'd love to kind of start with what you were just saying about being a father. As someone who is neurodivergent as well, I really want to kind of dive in with you because I've kind of seeked your advice a little bit about someone who's going on a journey, I guess, in adulthood through neurodivergency, and even just coming to the grips of reality of saying that I'm neurodivergent is something that's really strange and weird to me, because it's something that I guess in the past I've had to not tell anyone or not let anybody know because of whether it be shame or I just didn't want to be kind of labelled as that way, because that's how I was labelled as a child, the ADHD boy, the psycho, just because I was kind of understood and kind of found myself in adulthood, but just I guess now I guess it's weird, I'm kind of coming out of the closet a little bit and just being able to say to even just my wife and those type of people that I'm neurodivergent, and it's a strange feeling, but actually we should probably
I should probably hold one of them.
They may. So
I'll put it on my hat that you can't see.
Yeah.
But this is my Gold Coast very, very sun safe, because I always wear a black hat. Very, very sun safe hat.
Yeah.
Extremely sun safe.
Awesome. It's a cool hat.
Yeah.
Could you just unpack a little bit about being a father, I guess, and the topic that you mentioned earlier?
So the reason this topic originally came up was I was actually at a conference around neurodiversity, and there was a guy that, because I hadn't even thought about it, and this guy who had OCD presented, and he presented on OCD in general, but OCD in men and how it affects them. But one of the things he spoke about was, and he's actually got a podcast which is around men's mental health.
Yeah.
He's based out of, I think he's actually based out of Sunshine Coast, if I remember right. Yeah.
Okay.
And he, so we were talking about, he was talking about obsessive compulsive disorder and the fear of having to compulsively change the nappy 3 times because it becomes a compulsion, and how that'll affect his child, and the pre-fear he had before the child was even born.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, this is interesting. This is really interesting because in theory, I don't have the same stuff, but I did have anxiety around like I've always said I'm a really good uncle, and I've always been really good with kids, but I've also known that I could always leave if it was too much. I was able to step away, and I'm like, I'm bringing a child in that I can't leave. I can't just step away. So I was thinking about that, and thinking about, so one of the things that I haven't really spoken about this, one of the things I was quite worried about is how analytical I would be if the child was crying, because I am quite free flow, but I'm also quite analytical. And so I didn't want the child to be crying and to look like I was just holding them out and going, what's wrong? I can't work this out. Like, do I need to reset this like it's a computer? Like, what is this? So I had a lot of anxiety around that. But the other thing in other conversations I've had with other men, and this is a general thing, but I think it really affects neurodiverse men, is that through pregnancy, women have hormones that kick in and guys don't. And those hormones kind of, they take you ups and downs, and if you're the partner, you're like, oh, fuck the hormones. But when you don't have the hormones, you just feel like there's more and more pressure being added to your life because you know that once that baby's born, you 100% have to make everything work.
Yeah.
You have to do it. And if you're someone that's, yeah, you've got no choice.
Yeah.
And if you're someone that's neurodiverse that's kind of fumbled through life, you know you can't fumble anymore.
Yeah.
Like, and everything you've learned, you're like, I'm going to have to retrain myself. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to do that. And I think the other part, I spoke to a guy that was schizophrenic, and he was having a child, and he was so afraid of his child being schizophrenic. And, you know, I speak to a lot of people that have immense trauma as children, and they're afraid they're going to pass that over. And I think one of the biggest things, the reason I want to open up this conversation is I think that none of that is unique to neurodiverse people. That is just a general feeling that men feel.
Yeah.
But we don't speak about it.
Yeah.
And I think everyone I've spoken to, especially the guy that had schizophrenia, when I spoke to him about it and he was worried, I said, you understand your worry has nothing to do with having schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Your worry has to do with you just becoming a dad. This says your neurodiversity has nothing to do with this whatsoever. It's you're focused on your neurodiversity because you're worried about that.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you weren't neurodiverse, these are the same feelings.
There'd be other things.
You would have.
Yeah.
You're still worried about this. Like if you speak to a man that's not, you go to a pub, like you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
This is the general feeling.
Yeah, like when I became a dad, I didn't, you know, there's so many things that I don't want my kids, like my wife's like, oh, we got to teach them to surf. And I'm like, you know the amount of times I nearly died surfing? Like, I did not want to teach my kids to surf. Like, you have all these, yeah, exactly. It's not related to neurodiversity.
No, it's not related whatsoever, but we just go, oh, we're neurodiverse. We need to worry about, we need to, this is what the problem is.
Yeah.
And, so that's one of the, it's less about how parenthood affects men that are neurodiverse and more about how parenthood affects men in general and how if we just said this is normal, that neurodiverse men wouldn't feel as marginalised within that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know something as someone who's neurodivergent, I'm figuring out that that's probably why, you know, I feel things, I feel other people's pain, I feel everything around me. I can read people in a room just by sitting in it. I can kind of tell what's going on because I've always been a people watcher. You know, I usually sit and I watch people and I study them. I've pretty much done that since I was a kid, whether it be body language and all that sort of thing. So I know when becoming a dad and that sort of stuff, but I do feel like as soon as I had a child, and I think that it kind of is, yes, I'm neurodivergent and I'm passionate and I'm emotional and all that sort of thing. I'd suppressed a lot of it, but then all of a sudden I found myself crying at movies. And just all of a sudden I'm just this different person emotionally. I think we just have this human being now that like it's your job to, and you have so much love for this thing that you kind of didn't have before. You know, before I was happy to go put my life at risk surfing and do all these sorts of things, but now I'm just very fearful of a lot of things pretty much, and I got to wrap up. I'm that helicopter dad.
I think one thing that's really, because I know that you obviously your partner and you run a dance school and stuff like that, and I've been in the arts as well, and one of the big fears I had is I was watching my daughter do her first concert, and I've been in the youth arts for a long period of time, and I worked a lot with at-risk youth in youth arts, and I know like people like, why aren't you on stage, or why are you directing that? And the direction was never about directing. The direction was about seeing the change and seeing the opportunity people were given. And so I know that when I see kids on stage, I know their backstory, that it's very hard for me not to be in the audience crying and feeling
I've cried at my
emotional.
First 2 kids.
Yeah. And then it was my daughter's first concert and I was like, oh, how is this going to affect me? Because if this affects me with a normal child that I know very little about, how is this going to affect? Am I going to be like overwhelmingly emotional and having to hold it back? Am I just going to be sitting there feeling really uncomfortable because I know that I'm going to get really emotional and that I'm in a theatre and it's for my child and like, so all the anxiety. And then like, because of that, am I not going to enjoy this experience? Am I going to be like trying to hold back, which means in theory, all this joy I'm feeling I'm going to turn it into a negativity because I don't want it to come out. So yeah, but then I watched it and I was like, oh yeah, that was
Nice.
that was all right. Yeah, it wasn't as bad as what I thought it was.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Built up this anxiety. I know before a child, people would call me a stone. I literally had not cried since I was probably a child.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I get these emotions. It's crazy.
I'm the kind of guy that I've had to stop. So someone asked me yesterday about work-life balance.
Yeah.
And I have rules where I try to be 45 minutes from my workplace where I live.
Yeah.
And it's just so that because I can have quite intense participants and people I work with. And then when I get home, I don't want to drag that home because I've done that in the past and it just makes a bad home balance. But they were talking about what I do in that drive. And I said, I used to listen to music, but because of my neurodiversity, I can become quite emotive from music and it can be quite negative. So if I'm like I used to, when COVID hit Victoria and I had to drive around, I used to listen to a song called Human by Rag and Bone Man, which is about just being human. Yeah. We're just humans. And I'd listen to it every day. I'd go for a drive and I'd listen to it because I knew that song would just make me cry and let all my emotion out.
Yeah.
And then past that, I kind of fell into listening to this music all the time. But because music can be so emotive for me and the way I feel it, it can be really negative. So if I hear music that goes down, it can put really negative thoughts in my head around suicide and stuff like that.
Goes off on a tangent.
I go off. And I was talking to someone else about it and they said, well, don't listen to the bloody music games. Well, what do I listen to? I can't just, because if I sit within my own space, that's even worse. I need something. And they said, try listening to audiobooks. And I was like, why? And I said, why not podcasts? And they said, well, podcasts are extremely one-sided, and they're the way they in a podcast we give information is quite demanding on the person receiving it.
Okay.
But the way we write books is not demanding on the reader. It's actually it's a very well-trained and well-versed way of giving information. So that's when I went to listening in those drives. If I need to work on something in myself, I'll find a book that focuses on that, and then I'll listen to it. I have a weird thing where I listen to it at normal speed for the first time, and the next time I listen to it at 1.5. Yeah. And then the third time I listen to it at 3 times the speed.
Okay.
So I'm just because the third time I'd be bored. Yeah. So I have to have it rapidly given to me. Yeah. But we're talking about like concepts around leadership, concepts around pedagogies around how people live in other countries and all this stuff. So it provokes thought in my head, but doesn't provoke emotion. Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's funny you told me that at the SIL Summit, and you didn't actually tell me you listened to it on different speeds, or maybe I just didn't pick it up. But I'm on my first book, so Dan Martell's Buy Back Your Time. So I've just listened to it twice because I know with ADHD I don't retain. Like if I read it, I will go, what the heck did I just read? Yeah. Like I just don't know what I read. But next one I'm probably going to try is read while, I don't know how it's going to go, but actually read while I'm listening to it. Yep. So we'll see.
I normally do that around if I want really, I'll go the third one and then go to a speed read on that point, on that 3 times, and then just flip the pages. So I am getting a visual. Yeah. And it takes a book from being 3 hours to being about 50 minutes. Yeah. So you can really, and you're getting that extra stimulation.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, but everyone's different.
You got it. That's it. I'm testing and trying because the reality was that, I was in this book, which was really cool, had a chapter in Tanya's book, and I couldn't read the book. Like I just, I put up a wall and I'm like, man, I just can't read this book. Like so I was trying to read it, and thank God the audiobook came out because I'd read a page and then like, what did I just read? I don't know.
Yeah, just couldn't retain it.
No, I just have no idea what I read. So I don't know if that's an ADHD thing. I just have a very poor memory. Yeah.
Well, Tanya also asked if I wanted to be in the book, and I automatically went, and it wasn't around. I thought I could write something. Yeah, no problem.
It's fine.
And the process in which you want to put in place to write it,
typing,
100% made sense. Yeah. I could take it from a vocal perspective, and then I'd have it like I could speak to a computer, have it all written because I hate typing.
Oh yeah.
But then I knew other people were going to be in this book, and my problem was not around my chapter. My problem was around that I would not probably, knowing me, pay respect to the other writers because I probably would never ever read what they wrote. Yeah. And if I was going to share a book with someone, I know who I am, and I know that my barriers around reading I probably wouldn't pay the respect to the other writers. Not that I don't respect them, but if they came to me and said, I read your chapter and I like this, I probably would never have the rebuttal for their chapter.
Yeah.
Because I would not retain the information. And I felt that was really disrespectful to other people. So I refrained from I was like, I'm not going to do that. I probably could have put more stuff in place to make sure I could do that.
Yeah.
And if Tanya ever writes something in the future, it was because it was such a short time frame. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know, like I probably can't make the change in me to be respectful to everyone else.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Yeah.
So yeah.
So I guess I'd love to kind of dive in a little bit to strategies as entrepreneurs.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know,
Yeah,
we'll just see.
that's what we're here about,
We'll see where it goes anyway. But I've been starting to build up strategies for myself, so maybe I can learn something from yourself, and just being able to do things like Dan Martell's 131, which is, have you heard of the 131?
I've heard of it, but it doesn't mean I know what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically, if you've got a staff member or a VA or whatever that is, rather than them coming to you constantly with and you becoming that crutch for them to, and for them to actually figure out, oh, I can answer this question myself. You start with one problem, so they come to you with one problem. They come to you with 3 solutions, potential solutions. And then you ask them, which one would you choose?
So that's something that I do. So I was literally talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
I said, so I quite often talk about using VAs and who you need to be as a person to use VAs.
Yeah.
But one of the things I say with all of so I'm not someone that's very empathetic in a workplace.
Yeah.
I'm not a very empathetic person, and I know that. So one of the things my problem is, if I ask someone to do something or give someone a task, I believe they have the ability to do it. So when they do it, to me, I already believe they could do it. It's not an achievement. It's not something that needs to be praised.
Yeah.
But
that can probably work against you quite a lot.
Can work against me, and I was actually being asked around how I manage that, because people do need that positive reinforcement, especially in a society of like positive reinforcement and kind of quick. We live in quite a rapid society.
Yeah.
But what I was talking about is exactly that. So all my staff, they'll come to me and go, "This is my problem," and even though I'm a solutions-based person. I want a solution-based team. I can't just be the know-all of everything. So when they come to me and go, I've got a problem with this, I'm like, cool, what are your solutions? Because my solution probably will not be your solution.
Yeah.
And the way I might, because I'm neurodiverse or because of my upbringing, or my answer might not work for you. So you need to give me some answers, and then we can decide what answer works for both of us. So, I've got a problem with this participant around rostering, or I've got a problem with this around a behaviour support practitioner. Cool. What are the 3 or 4 things that you think might be the solution? And then I'll say, yeah, I think that's the solution.
Yeah.
And so
you can choose too, and it makes your choice simpler as well.
Well, it also means that over time, so I see it as an empowerment model, because it empowers my staff. I feel like we've really disempowered support workers.
Yeah,
in general.
100%, yeah.
And that they've...
Because of fear that they're going to do something wrong.
Yeah, and I think we need to empower them. So when they come to you with a problem and you say, what are the solutions? And you say, you come up with the right solution. Next time they might not call you because they've got a bit more of empowerment in themselves to do the right thing, but they're also at the same time embedding a kind of personal company ethos within your team around how you would do something, but you're not saying you have to do it this way. You're kind of, playing with that. So
and we're kind of getting away from that micromanaging, because so many people, obviously this is their baby, this is their business, and they have this attachment to it, and I have to make sure everything runs really, really good, but you'll never be able to have business freedom until you start kind of buying back some of your time, which is
one of the VA things I say to people is I've met a lot of people and they blame their VA. Oh, my VA is not very good. And I say, I'm sorry. I normally ask what nationality they are, because the different VAs I've used from a nationality perspective, there's a core approach and they're very different. And I quite often use VAs that are Filipino.
Me too.
Because they have, they're just amazing at what they do.
Like, I think their hearts, like
they're in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And someone will be, oh, my VA is terrible. And I'll be like, I'm sorry, you're not a very good manager, because
100%.
having a VA actually means that you're really good at managing people, because when I explain to someone, if you can't drive a car and explain a spreadsheet that you want built without showing someone, you probably shouldn't have a VA, because if you have to build the spreadsheet, in theory, you're kind of disempowering that person within their SOP and their procedure. Like, you might, right at the start, give a spreadsheet to someone and say this is what it is, but if you can't explain it, you probably don't have the communication to be able to have a VA, because the idea of a VA is like, I'll have them for, when I originally meet with them, we write some SOPs, do all that kind of stuff for the project, and then I might meet with them every day of the week, and they'll send me a little report at the end of the day. Over time, I stop reading the report, and I'll say, I'm not reading the report anymore, man. Can you send it to me at the end of the week? I know what you're doing, okay? I might meet with them 3 times a week, and I'll say, I've got this time blocked out for you, but let's just take it if we have to. Before I know it, I'm meeting with that VA once a fortnight, once a month, because they're literally empowered to do their job. And I've met other people that have VAs, and they have cameras. I pointed at them, and I'm like
24/7 to make sure they're working.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm not about hours. I'm about output.
Output, exactly. So I don't care how many hours you work, as long as you get it done.
I also have an honest belief that just because a lot of people, when they outsource or give something to a team member, they expect it to be done in the same time frame it would take them to do it. There's a reason that I'm a CEO of a company. I've got a lot more experience to someone that's a relationship manager.
Yeah.
So why would I expect that they can do something faster than me when I'm the one with more experience, more strategy? So when I give something to someone, if something's going to take me an hour, if it takes them 2 hours, it's no problem. I've already put that in my head, because why would it take the same amount of time if I'm the boss?
It's funny because someone with ADHD, my VAs at the moment, definitely I've been sitting with them. I meet with them more regularly in the beginning, but they're actually, I brought them on to do things faster than what I can, because with my ADHD, I will come in and I'll go, okay, I got to reply back to this person on Facebook Messenger, and then I'll be like, how the hell how long have I been doom scrolling here? I came on here to do one simple thing and message James Loveday to tell him that, and I've been scrolling for 10 minutes. Like, what? I don't even know how that happened. So then back to the task. So I have to be like laser focused on one thing, and I've got they say that analogy that you've got a million different tabs open. On my computer screen, I've probably got about 90 tabs open. And every now and then I just go close and just close them
everything, and then go, I'm starting all over again.
And so that's pretty much how it works. But my VAs do it. Once I've trained them and I've built SOPs, and I kind of go on a journey with them too. Like, if I don't know what I'm doing, I say, let's do this together, and we'll meet and we'll just talk, because I actually love just verbalizing it. Like, they probably sit there going, God, this guy talks a lot. But I'm just literally verbalizing it to internalize it and make sure that it kind of secures.
It also helps you understand what you're actually after sometimes. When you have to explain something to someone else, you go, oh, actually what was in my head originally is not actually what I was after.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, exactly. So I go on that. They kind of help me with that. And one of the things that I really love, and I think Paul Bryan put me onto this, and then I looked at Dan Martell and the way that he does it as well, is that every morning I wake up and all of my emails are cleared, and there's just a thing that says Greg. And then I just go in and check the ones that Greg, and anything that they can reply to, they'll reply back to, or whatever. And man, that frees my brain. I
just need to get a VA that understands how bad I am at spelling, so that when they reply, they reply with my level of literacy. Because sometimes when VAs reply, the receiver goes, this is written too well. So, in theory, this wasn't written by James.
Well, have you noticed everybody's emails are written too well at the moment?
True. I wonder why.
There's a little thing up the top, and Chris showed me this the other day, a little thing up the top of your Gmail that says Gemini, and you just go,
it just does it.
What should I reply to this email?
Done.
Okay, cool.
I'm not an AI person.
No.
I say you have, so I understand AI is used in the business. I don't use it, because I feel like if I can't do something, or it's the cost of me doing it should be handed to someone else because it's not cost effective, I'll hand it to the next person down, who's then got people underneath them. Those people probably have a VA.
Yeah.
And they'll hand it to the VA, and the VA might use AI.
Yeah.
But because it's that chain, I don't really care.
Okay.
If you get what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
whenever I need something, like I needed a document built the other day, I knew that it'd probably take me 20 to 40 hours to build this. It's kind of a cost analysis in relation to growing of a business, in relation to more support workers. So more participants equals more support workers equals more admin staff. And that at what times on that 80-20 rule should you start advertising so that you're never, over obligating your staff members, but at the same time you might have a projection of 2 years, but in theory if you hit a target, your 6-month target within 4 months, you need to bring that forward and what that would auto-generate. So it would have taken me like 40 hours to work out how to do that. And so I just, rang someone that I knew and said, this is going to take me 40 hours, what would you quote to do this? And they said this, and I said, well, that's half of what would cost for my time to do it. So you might as well just build it for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like let's outsource that to someone who's an expert in this, because you can't be an expert in everything.
No, you don't want to. Exactly. You can't be. I mean, that's like my motto. You can't be an expert in everything.
No.
I'm pushing being a specialist by design at the moment, which is like not just big niching down. Like I know there's this big thing in the industry at the moment, which is niching down, and that's kind of what I want to see as well. But actually understanding and being a specialist at whatever the problems are that they're facing. So if you're working with young men to lead an active lifestyle, or young men with autism, intellectual disabilities, understanding every problem that they have, what are the ones that are probably highest on their list. Have you done 10 hours of research on Google? Like, do you have any statistics about mental health? Like, do you have actually become a specialist by design and design your whole branding and framework around
that?
Everything that you've done research. Because so many people, they just go, I want to be a disability support worker. I'm great at care, and they go, throw up a website.
Yeah.
But I know before you build a website, there's so much more you have to do. And that's why I kind of do myself out of a job sometimes as a web designer.
Yeah.
Because I end up like on a strategy call and I end up going, so have you done this yet? Have you done this yet? Oh, I'll do you up a quote, but I think you should kind of go away and do this.
Do this first,
And they go, okay, damn it.
Well, it just means that you
They do come back to me.
Well, it means that you actually, like, I feel like there's a whole part of this, there's a sub-industry within the NDIS that is, that perpetually is making business for themselves.
Yeah.
In theory.
Correct.
And I feel like there are people in this industry that I kind of ethically align with in the, like the sub-industry of supporting NDIS providers. And they're the people that will say, I can't help you yet.
Yeah.
I need this first.
Yeah.
And it's not because, and it's from that purpose of, I actually want to do a really good job, and the only way I can help you is if you do this, this, and this first, because so like you're doing web design, if you do subpar web design because they don't have all the information, that also interacts with who you are as a web designer. You know what I mean? So if you don't have all the information, you're going to make a shit website. It isn't going to help them, and in the long term, it's not going to help you. And that's not the reason you're doing it. You're actually doing it because you actually want to help people.
And that's where we go, like in the discovery sessions where we spend an hour and a half in figuring out what their business is. I really dive deep into that. But sometimes people just say, I just don't want to do that because I don't want to limit myself to not having any clients. And that's it's hard to change someone's belief on that. Yeah. Like until they've actually seen it and you're like, oh, I get it now. Sometimes it takes them a year, 2 years to go, I get it now, Greg, and come back.
And they come back to you and they go, well, actually a year ago I should have done this.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't mean that to sound arrogant, but it's just that I've worked with hundreds of providers now, and it's the same.
Yeah, same thing.
Same wheel, same process. Now, once upon a time, you could start a disability business and just get clients. That was probably 8-9
years ago. Right at the start,
Right now, yeah. So we're in a red ocean, and that's what I'm loving about my mentorship group is that everyone who comes into it, they are doing something different. And it's just, I hope that one day I look up in 3 to 5 years and there's just so much choice. And that's kind of my mission, is that I want to provide choice for participants at the same time as giving people a business that they love, not that they look back in 5 years and they hate, because they're like, oh, I started this and I'm working with so many different people and my staff don't align with me. And so that's my mission at the moment. And I feel like we're going to look up in 10 years or whatever, and there'll be a heap of free events, like there'll be, Dungeons and Dragons, and there'll be all these little things everywhere, and choice and control for everyone. Real choice and control.
Yeah.
We actually use that buzzword, but actual choice and control.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did want to touch on a little bit public speaking, something that I'm getting better at and trying to learn. Actually, I watch your stuff and I think, well, he's a public speaker and he gets paid to do public speaking for people, so why not try and see how you do that sort of stuff? Do you have any like tips or strategies and that sort of thing for?
I think so. I made a conscious choice to be a public speaker, but not because I wanted to be public, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
So I used to live in a world where everyone was siloed within my life. So things like a birthday party would be really anxiety provoking to me.
Yep.
Because I had people I worked with, I had people I socialised with, I had people I was in this with, and they never should they meet because they all knew very different parts of me.
Yeah.
And it was a way of not having to always mask, because I only had to mask certain parts of myself in front of people. And then I realised how detrimental that was going to be long term, that I couldn't just have everyone siloed, that I had to. So when I moved to Victoria, I was like, no. I'm not, like, that's my past. I have a clean slate here. And a part of that clean slate was when I was in Queensland, I drank a lot of drugs and stuff like that. And here, once I've been to Victoria, I haven't.
Oh, really? Okay.
And a lot of it wasn't that I wanted to give that up, because I think a lot of that had to do with the trying to mask.
Okay.
But now that I'm in Victoria, I made the decision that I wanted people to know who was uniquely me.
Yep.
And I think that came with age as well. And because a lot of the pushback I've had over my years, I've always been like this. But when I was younger, they'd be like, "You're 20 years old. What do you know?" You know what I mean? So
exactly.
I had to grow into it.
100%. You sit. I've always sat there in a room of support coordinators and behavioural plan managers with this baby face. There's a reason I've got a beard. Because I look like I was 18 for like into my 40s, like 30s. Yeah.
So in relation to the public speaking, I wanted to make sure that I was uniquely me, because the draw card is not what I'm saying. The draw card is how I say it. And anyone that's seen me present will be like, James has a very unique way of presenting.
Okay.
I'm very raw. I don't pull punches.
You're pretty quick though.
I'm pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I also don't, like, I heavily rehearse, but I don't write things down. Yeah. Because I need to be adaptable for an audience. But
I can't write things down because I won't remember it.
Yeah. So I had a presentation yesterday and I'd only had 4 slides, and I explained to the group, this only had 4 slides because they asked me for the slides a week ago. Yeah. And I knew that I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to catch a flight to do this, and that by the time I got here, my opinion of what I wanted to present on would have changed after a week. So I just wanted to have 4 slides because you wanted slides. It's no reason to put slides there. If you asked me for slides 2 hours before the presentation, you'd have amazing slides. Yeah. Because I know exactly what I want to say. So I'll get up and I'm sitting on the plane yesterday and I'm going, okay, so I want to talk about this and I want to talk about this and I'd like to do the segue of this, and so I might take a couple of notes on a piece of paper, but it's more of a flow than what I'm going to say, because I think that too many people present from a script. Yeah. And even if you've rehearsed that script,
it doesn't seem natural.
It doesn't seem natural. No, and I think what people are drawn to in good public speakers is that they come across as they had this natural, inherent ability to speak publicly. What people don't realise is that's years and years of being knocked back and second-guessing yourself. But
also knowing your stuff. The ones, if I put you up on stage and said, talk about AI,
I'd be like, no, I'd be like, fuck no, man, that's not happening.
You'd be freezing, like, okay.
Yeah, but I would also never, ever talk about something that's outside of my scope. Yeah. Like, when I used to support people, I said there's 3 kinds of people, and these are the 3 things I'd probably never, ever talk about publicly, and I'll talk about anything. So I'll probably never ever talk or support someone from a domestic violence perspective,
Okay.
because I cannot comprehend why you would stay with someone that is domestically violent. I cannot comprehend that. I understand why people do it. I understand everything, but I cannot comprehend it, and I don't think I would give it the empathy and I would give it the respect that it needs. People with eating disorders, I don't think I could ever speak about. I understand why people have eating disorders. I understand body dysmorphia and all that. But I think that to truly speak about that, you need to have experienced it.
Yeah.
And then the other one is someone that's an amputee.
Okay.
Because in theory, I've never lost a body part.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have lost a lot of things in their lives. But I think losing something that you see every single day that you've lost has another layer to it. And I think it would be quite disrespectful to speak to that.
Yeah.
So I think that if you're going to be a public speaker, the other thing I did when I decided to go to a public speaker is I wrote all the things I'm willing to talk about and all the things I'm not willing to talk about, because I was quite happy to embed my own experience in. And that's what the draw card was. But I had to also decide what my own experience was that I was willing to share. Because otherwise I would overshare, because I would go on a tangent. And then that could be detrimental to my family, detrimental to myself, detrimental to my own mental health. So I was really, I might sound like I'm very open, but I've already made all the decisions around where my line is, so there's no grey.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. That simplifies things. I find when I public speak, something that I've noticed lately, and people are like, slow down, you got to slow down.
Yeah.
And that's a lot easier said than done for me, because I'm speaking fast because I don't want to forget anything. Because if I have a big pause, if you think ADHD, the kind of odd thing is you see someone with typical ADHD, they'll be looking at something and a bird flies past.
Yeah.
And that kind of takes their attention.
Yeah.
So I can be talking, if I talk slow enough, my brain will pick up, there's a guy down there in a red sweater or something like that, and he just did something or just had a piece of food, and I'm like, shit, what was I talking about? And I just lost my train of thought. So I'm just staying on point, I'm going, and I'm in the flow, and I'm just hitting it hard kind of thing. So I find it really hard to slow down.
There's a thing with, people don't realise a lot of good public speakers enter from the back of the room.
Okay.
And there's a reason for that. So if I am side a stage right, I'm inside my own head. So I can see what the people before me are doing, but I can't read my audience before entering the room. So you have to enter with extreme confidence. You watch a comedian walk out.
Yeah.
That initial first 3 to 5 seconds sets up everything, right? Because they have to walk in with extreme confidence. As a public speaker, you'll notice that I quite often, the person before me, I'm sitting in the back. I'm not engaged in the conversation. Yeah. I'm not engaged in the presentation. I'm sitting back trying to calm myself down. Yeah. But I'm also gauging where the audience energy is at that time. Okay. So that'll define how I walk into the room. So if I'm being introduced, because they'll be hyping me up, but I don't want to go up hyped. I might come across as hyped, but I'm way more settled down to what's actually happening inside my body. But I might enter via the side because I feel like I don't need to be in with them. Okay. I need to be beside them in that room. So that's all right, my camera just stopped, it's fine. It's probably overheated or something. But yeah, so I think that there's a lot of thought that goes into how you set yourself up, how you read the room, and it's not just from stage. People that walk out with the hand. So the people that can, the people I truly respect, if you look at someone like Tony Robbins, right?
I've seen his entry. He's like,
so Tony Robbins, when he enters a room, I've been in the room, there's 11,000 people, and there's fireworks, and there's 70-year-old man.
He's beating his chest before he actually goes.
He's beating his chest. There's music being played, but he has hype people because he is actually an extremely cool, calm, and collected human being. So he gets hyped up to get on stage. Okay. But other people, you'll see other public speakers.
I probably need to do that.
Or swimmers who have headsets on, who are literally trying to cut out everything around them. Like an Olympic swimmer is a public speaker with only Speedos on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're trying to close that world in so they can focus, where other people are trying to open that world up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Remove that sensory depth. Do you find, as someone neurodivergent, you get that sensory overload when you're public speaking?
No, because I used to be an actor. I'm very used to being on stage, and when I was acting,
You got comfortable with being uncomfortable.
yeah, I got comfortable. I got comfortable with being. So, when I was an actor, I really liked being able to see the audience.
Yeah.
So I didn't like having heavy lights. I liked to be able to engage with the audience and break the third wall.
Yeah.
Not break the third wall as in become a part of the audience, if you understand theatre speak, but I like to be able to engage with an audience.
Yeah.
And then you were talking about the uncomfortableness. I have a belief the day I feel comfortable with just walking up there is the day that I'm not going to do a good presentation.
Okay.
Because I've always had this belief. So I believe in a theory which is called hearing voices, and that's a formalised theory now internationally. And it wasn't until probably a couple of months ago that I came to understand what that theory was. But that 60% of the human race has an internal dialogue. Okay?
Yeah.
And you have an internal dialogue, and that's that anxiety that you feel, that person on your shoulder when you're going to go present. That's that's your internal dialogue. And that with my theory that everyone's got internal dialogue, and through trauma that internal dialogue becomes negative.
Yeah.
And from the negativeness you get schizophrenia. It's not that you never heard voices. It's
Yeah,
just the
okay.
voices are so negative in your life that you need to be medicated.
Yeah. Okay.
So one of the things I have always got this, like, am I going to be, how do I look? Like, the way I choose to wear clothes is a conscious decision I've made.
Yeah.
Where I always wear a black hat, or I always wear that, and it's not because I'm branding, it's because I need to have as little, I get kind of decision fatigue. So
Okay.
I have to go, like some people want to get dressed up and be really bright on stage. I always wear a black shirt with writing on it.
Yeah.
And that's because it's one less decision I have to make on that day, because I know how many decisions I have to make quite quickly on stage.
Okay.
And I've got that little voice on my shoulder saying, they're not going to like you.
Yeah.
They're going to leave. You know what I mean? And then you walk up and you're like, people are walking into this room. Why are they walking into this room? They're walking into this room because, people, like when you speak and people bring the camera up and take videos of it, you're like, even though I've never had anyone take one of my videos or videotape me and put it in a negative setting, I'm waiting for that to happen. Like that's on my shoulders. It's never happened, but it's on my shoulders. So I've always got this anxiety behind me. But I think without having the anxiety, you're not going to do a good presentation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That self-critique is actually what makes you better.
I've embraced it a lot lately, for sure. Like I come from a world of semi-professional basketball, and you would get nerves before you go to the basketball. When you're on the court, you hear nothing. People are like, didn't you just hear that guy swearing at you, or stealing? I'm like, no, I don't hear any of that. I was just in the zone, focused on basketball. And I've come from that world, and now I guess in my entrepreneur career, so I retired like 10 years ago from high-level basketball, and I have been searching for that nerves, that feeling of being alive, I guess. And before that I was a bodyboarder, a surfer, all that sort of stuff. There was always that that feeling of hyped up, and so I've learnt to embrace the nerves. And sometimes I definitely will be driving to it and the nerves get too much, and I'm just like, man, I feel sick. That is just internalized, and I think that's normal. But I try to now internalize it and just go basically, I'm alive, and this feeling is good. It's good to be scared. It's good to be nervous. Just accepting it. I listened to a podcast. I think it was Stephen Bartlett on Mo Gaudat. Have you heard him? He has a book about the theory of happiness and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I generally love the theory of happiness. So yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's brilliant, and he goes on his trauma about his son passing away and all that sort of stuff. Actually, he used to be a designer at Google. So he was the guy who designed all that sort of thing. But he has a thing as well that when you have that internal voice that you're talking about. Everyone obviously has a different internal voice. My internal voice is probably saying, "Oh, look at that. Oh,
Yep.
look at that. Oh, look at that." Like
Yep.
it's constantly da 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 da, and then it kind of goes negative, and then it goes on a spiral and a tangent. And like one negative thought, a smallest one, goes from, and this is back to us talking about fatherhood and that sort of stuff. One negative thought of my son ends up me leading all the way to their death.
Yeah.
And it just goes off on a tangent, and then I just get this feeling of like they've just died. Like just internally, I've just lost my son, and it like really affects me emotionally. So I have been going on a journey. That's why I'm going on this journey as an adulthood and a parent, because I get these feelings that are just crazy. Like I'm like, what the hell am I thinking about that for? Where the hell did that even come from? I was just driving along, and all of a sudden, this thought just tangented off, and then all of a sudden I just saw my kid die.
I want to talk about that because I've had the same experience, but I want to go back to the public speaking thing just really quickly.
Yeah.
And what you need to understand, so I also help people, I also hold panels.
Yeah.
And people are like, I could never be on a panel. And I'm like, no, you have all the knowledge, and I'll talk them through the anxiety they're going to feel. Like there was a guy the other day that the night before I got really, really drunk, and that was because, and that's not his normal, that was just the anxiety of being on a panel.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm so sick. And I'm like, I already had the chips ready to soak it up because I knew, like, you have to get on stage, man. Like, me asking you to be on a panel is me backing you because I believe you can do this. But when you're a public speaker, what you also need to do is surround yourself, and you would have had the same in sport, is surround yourself with people that aren't going to kiss your ass.
Yeah.
Because everyone will say you're great to your face, and behind your back they'll say, I didn't like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, brilliant.
So you need to choose, like, Yasser, who you would know. I have a great respect for Yasser as a public speaker.
Paul always gives me feedback.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Yasser has a great respect for me.
Yeah.
But if you've seen us, we could never co-present with each other because it would be like I would be going in one direction and he'd be like trying to hold the room at the same time. We're vastly different.
Yeah.
But we both are not negative on each other. And there's other people that but everyone pretty much knows Yasser. But whenever I speak and Yasser's there, like Yasser will come up and give me really good constructive criticism. And it will just be like, hey, you lost this part or that part. So it's not a negative because everyone else will be like, oh, that was great, James. And I'm like, well, it wasn't. It could
have been better.
One of the reasons I left acting was because I got to the point where the people directing me couldn't give me criticism. So I wasn't going to get any better. I'm not the best. If I was the best, I wouldn't be sitting in your studio today. I'd be in Hollywood.
You'd be sitting with Stephen Bartlett.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm not the best at this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But but everyone will kiss your butt. And then in relation to what you're saying around that anxiety around your son, I remember walking home one night from a nightclub strip in North Queensland.
Yeah.
And a dude breaking into a Coke machine who was homeless, and me calling the police.
Yeah.
And then post that, I went through this whole journey of the police have called him shit. He resisted arrest. They beat him up. He's now in a prison cell. He's bleeding because he's homeless. They probably don't care about him. He's got no advocates. And by the time I'd walked the next 2 Ks, I was in tears.
Yeah.
And because I was like, I've just wrecked this homeless guy's life for stealing a can of Coke. And I went and actually sought psychiatric advice around it. I was like, man, this really affected me. But one of the amazing things I did, and I'm going to talk about Tony Robbins again, and you have to understand, when I went to the Tony Robbins event, I went as an absolute skeptic, okay? One person I know gave me some tickets and he was like, you will love this. And I was like, this is a cult, okay? And there was one exercise over the 4 days that stood out to me and I still focus on now. And I don't even know how long it took, but it was an exercise. So we did this whole stuff around your past trauma and your past history and stuff like that. But then there was this one exercise about your future, okay? And I might cry when I explain this exercise, just letting you guys know.
Yeah.
But so he got you to close your eyes, and then I feel like he might have filled the room with acid or something via the air ducts, like, because of what it was.
Yeah.
But he got you to say, so you had to just close your eyes and think of one thing you're grateful for in the future.
In the future.
In the future, and one
Yeah.
thing you foresee in your future.
Yeah.
And at that stage, I was working for organisations. I was being, I wouldn't say used and abused, but there was a reason that I was with those organisations. It was because of my public persona, because of my vocabulary, but I probably wasn't respected as well as I'm respected now. I haven't changed as a person.
Yeah.
And so first time I opened my eyes and I pictured myself owning multiple companies, and I'm like, I'm just like a sport worker. Why would this happen?
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, that's really weird. And then the second one, I closed my eyes, I opened up my eyes, and I was sitting on a chair at a coffee table kind of thing on a veranda, and my wife was there and she was drinking a cup of tea, and I was looking out at this vista of me in a vineyard picking grapes and my daughter running through with butterflies going after her.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, this is like...
Did you have a daughter then?
I had a daughter at the time.
Yeah.
So she was probably about 2 at the time, and not even 2.
Yeah.
And it was just like, we're gonna, like, at that stage we were renovating a house, and like where we live, I have a feeling where I don't feel settled anywhere. So I can really I purposely unsettle myself, where I'll move a lot.
Okay.
Buy and sell houses and renovate them that because it makes me feel more secure. Like, I'm quite happy sleeping on a couch, like in a big open space, and I am in a bedroom kind of feel sometimes.
Yeah.
So that was really settling around the family stuff. And then the third one was I opened my eyes, and it was me and my wife, and we were holding hands, and the door opened, and it was the birth of my first grandchild. And so it was like literally my daughter laying there with the baby fresh on her, like that fresh on her chest.
Yeah.
And I opened my eyes, I was crying, and everyone's like, you all right? I'm like, I'm fucking so fine, man. You got no idea. But
Nice.
but the idea of those 3 things is when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling like life is crap, when you're feeling like nothing's going forward, you just remember those 3 things. So when someone says to me, what do you see in your future? I can honestly say, because I reckon in that third kind of apparition thing, I was at least 60.
Yeah.
So I'll at least be here for another 18 years on this earth.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to experience that. You know, that's an experience I'm going to have.
Yeah.
So I know that over the next, until that happens, no matter what happens, I'm going to get that experience. So it's something to look forward to. And I think that even though I was really skeptical of Tony Robbins, I'm highly respected of him, and how that really being able to have that really far, strong focus of where my future is going to be on something that's an experience everyone would have, but being able to have the visualization of that, I know that I can move forward with clarity.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm a big believer of Tony Robbins. When I was growing up, I didn't have a father figure around very often, and my mother gave me some cassette tapes of Tony Robbins, and they pretty much stuck with me into my early 20s, and then I ended up getting the CD-ROMs and that sort of stuff. So that was my male role model.
I'm hoping he comes again at the end of this year.
If you can find tickets,
if he does, man, if he does, I will hit up that guy that gave me 10 tickets last time.
That would be...
And you're there, because he's getting a bit old now.
My dream, for
sure. And he
sure.
does have an event, The Date with Destiny, that does not have a date next to it.
Yeah.
In October this year. And last time he came, because he only ever does Date with Destiny in once in America 1 year, and the next year he does it in Australia. That's what he's done for many years.
Yeah.
So if he's doing it in Sydney again, I'll be walking across the fire with you, okay? Walking across the hot coals.
100%, man. I'd be on. Maybe I need to close my eyes and think about my future.
Yeah, no, but it's...
I would love that exercise if you can find that anywhere. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, so...
Because I'm a big believer that, like, I can do and achieve anything. Like, there's nothing that, like... Maybe earlier on I kind of thought, what, like, I wouldn't be able to... I can't do that. And now I'm kind of like... Shit, all this stuff has happened, and like all I've done is put one foot in front of the other, and just made sure. And I always kind of give through reciprocity. I always just be a good person, and I believe if you just keep doing that, like, it seems to happen. And the fact that you're like, that is going to happen. In the next 18 years. I feel the same about many things in my life. I'm like, I know that's achievable. It's just a matter of when, like, in my life.
One of the things when I used to be an actor. When I was acting, because I've always had a belief I can do anything, but I also had a fear around it because I was intellectually disabled, and one of those fears, I guess, was that I'd play a character, and so like I used to be able to picture that I could be a doctor. Like there's no way educationally I would ever be a doctor.
Okay.
I probably could, but you wouldn't see me at uni for 7 years. Like I just couldn't do it.
I tried.
And I can't spell, and like half of those disorders are going to involve spelling. And but I could play a doctor. I could play a doctor very, very well. And when I was acting, I'm like, I could be anything. And I was like, that's a really that's not good, James, that you believe that you could be these things. Some of these things, because it was going from playing them to being them in my head. And I was like, And I think that, so where I was going with that is, and I know this is totally off on a tangent. But
that's all right. When you're divergent, man, this whole thing's on a tangent.
There's a lot of actors that end up committing suicide. And I feel that maybe it's because they go from believing they can play something to being it.
Okay.
And that I feel like I dodged a bullet by stepping away from acting, because I played like mental health. I played people with mental health and Heath Ledger's personal acting coach I've worked with when I was a younger actor. I did training with him around some very interesting approaches to mental health and how you play different characters and feel that. And I was like, maybe people, these people have gone from being able to play something to feeling like they are that.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. But I also feel sometimes when I'm on stage, I'm just playing a character.
Yeah.
Like I have a public persona and a personal persona, and they're vastly different. And
it's strange because like I've got this thing that I kind of want to go into acting. Like I've done some extra stuff on the Tiger King and the Young Rock and that sort of stuff. And I'm just like, I just want to try it, and just because I think that I can do it, and I know that, and it's just something that I want, and that's why I did the extra stuff, is just because I want to live life and try different stuff, and just know that I can do it, and it'd be interesting to get some acting coaching.
I just couldn't be bothered dealing with the auditioning and the rejection. I think people with ADHD, we have a huge amount of rejection anxiety, and that I just. Like as an actor, I never really got rejected heavily, but the feeling of being rejected was like, and the feeling of knowing, like when you're going for a role, and you go for it, and you know the other person that gets it, and you're like, I don't like it's.
Yeah, I've felt that as well.
Buggers with my head.
Well, as a basketballer, every year I would go try out for a number of teams.
Yeah.
And, you're like, I'm better than that dude. Like, how did he get that role? Like, I score more than that. So you're like, so...
It's not always how much you've scored or anything like that. It's actually like, I think it's the dynamic and the team mentality and where you fit within a bigger picture.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that we don't actually see how we fit within that bigger picture. We're like, no, we're the best. Yeah. We can do this.
Yeah.
Hold it all up.
Like, what? Like, I'm a better shooter. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to we were talking about and forever whoever's watching, we're going on tangents. Do you have a time you got to go?
No, we're all good. Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you're a divergent, so deal with it. But I want to go back to the on the shoulders. I've kind of come up with the Mogo Dat thing. He has this thing where. Your brain is different to you. So you said you've got your internal thoughts, and your brain is your brain, and you can just not listen to your brain.
Yeah.
And so he says, give your brain a name. So I call mine Brian.
Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah.
And anytime like it makes a stupid decision, and like I was saying before, and I was going down that tangent of my brain went off into these kind of pretty bad areas, I just literally say, shut up, Brian. What are you doing? You're a dickhead. Stop it. Like, and I just, I just, next subject.
So the hearing voices approach is an internationally recognised approach for people that hear voices. So it's mainly working with people with schizophrenia, but I also think that it works for people with anxiety, because in theory, anxiety is a voice saying that something negative to you. Yeah. And what it does is, instead of being, so in the sector, a lot of people have come across people with schizophrenia, and what they'll say is, that voice isn't real. I'm sorry. But when you say that, for that person, that voice in their head is real.
Yeah.
It's real, man.
It's there.
It's there. They
Yeah.
believe that. And the minute you say that's not real,
Yeah, that's not a good thing to say.
it's like the worst thing you can say to them, because it pushes them away instantly, and that's what they get in the clinical setting. It's not real. We're just going to medicate it. We're going to make it disappear. You can't make it disappear. It's a part of them. So in the hearing voices approach, what it looks at is that voice as a significant other.
Yeah.
So you're going to have that voice. So that voice is a significant other inside of you.
Yeah.
So you need to have a relationship with it. And then over time, we'll work with people, because at T&K Support Services, a lot of our management team have studied this. And we've got some of our support workers that are starting to study this, because we work with a lot of people that have schizophrenia or anxiety or other mental health condition. And once we say, so they'll say, this voice, and I'll never say to them, that's not real. I'll say, what's the voice saying to you? And they're like, what do you mean, what's it saying to me? I'm like, what's it saying?
Let's listen to it.
Let's listen to this. And then we'll do tasks like, hey, can you draw that voice for me? And they'll draw it. Or, you sit them in a room with like a room with me or one of the other facilitators that do it. This is done internationally. And we'll give them pillows and chairs and say, where's the voice coming from?
Yeah.
In relation to you. Because a voice that's in front of you is quite good. A voice that's on your shoulder is kind of guiding you. And a voice behind you is very scary. You can't see it.
Okay.
So we look at those voices and where they're coming from and what they mean. And then over time, we'll talk about other humans or physical people that they've interacted with who remind them of that voice. Not what the voice reminds them of them, but the back, and go, well, when your dad used to tell you that you're shit all the time, right? What did you stay inside yourself to know you weren't shit? And they would be like you said with Brian, I'm not doing this. Shut up. Okay. And once they start getting power within that relationship, because it's a relationship they're having with something, the power imbalance changes.
Yeah.
So they can slowly change the power imbalance, because all that is a power imbalance. So one of the guys we've worked with, who's got very, very severe voices that lead to like physical feelings of trauma and crying and convulsing and stuff like that. You'll see him walking around going, just shut the fuck up. Okay, that's him. And people go, and I'm like, no, that's him trying to work out the power imbalance. Because he's trying to tell that voice to be quiet. The voice is fighting, he's fighting with something inside his body, but he's trying to win. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we have to help him with strategies to win over that voice, to win that relationship.
Okay.
So it's like, so I'll say to people like, people are married, I'll say, you don't always agree with your wife.
Yeah.
Okay. Inside, your wife says something. You say, your wife says something, and inside you go, there's no way that's going to happen. If that voice is a naggy thing on your shoulder that's just nagging at you, if that was your wife, in your head you'd be going, that's just not going to happen, mate. Like, I'm just going to find any other way. Why aren't you using that same approach for just the voice? Yeah. Because it is also a significant other. So yeah, that's that approach.
I found it really powerful just to be able to separate it from. So I'm kind of teaching my kids, like you see my kids go and do stuff like, I just told you not to do that, and then they just do it. I'm like, or they make some decision, and I'm like, why did you make that decision? You know the difference. You know, I've taught you right and wrong, and that's the stuff. And I'm like, you can't keep listening to your brain. It was just impulsive, you know. It was just like, had to do.
I think kids are also kids, the reason we know, like we probably both lived high risk, done really stupid stuff, hurt ourselves. You know, we grew up in the 80s. That's how we learned. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think that as parents...
It's like we survived.
We survived. But as parents, we're like, oh no, the world is so much worse now. But in theory, falling over on a skateboard is going to give you the same reaction as what it did in the 80s. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's the actual bad stuff in the world now is not from like people are like, don't speak to strangers. I reckon... speaking to a stranger in public is safer now than what it was in the 80s. Yeah. because in theory it's way more documented. There's
Yeah.
video cameras fucking everywhere. Like,
Yeah, you just didn't know.
you just, well, back then nothing was documented. Like,
Yeah.
understand online, totally different world. But in the world that we grew up in, we probably are in a safer world now. Like, you're probably less likely to be kidnapped now because, or if you're kidnapped, you're more likely to be found because there's way more ways of tracking people. So it's actually safer. But we're so worried because the world's so different that we're restricting our children, but at the same time, if it's the shit we did, it's probably actually safer to do it now. Or they're going to get the same reaction. They're going to scrape their knee. They're going to break a bone. We all did it. You know what I mean? And we're okay.
Yeah. I guess.
I guess. We do all right.
We
you know.
survive.
We got married, we got children, we got businesses, you know, like, we're good.
I think if I went back and told my kid self where I would be now, I would have never thought I could definitely be where I am, for sure.
Without a doubt.
Even just getting up on stage, like the worst fear ever. Like I get those when people say like there's death and then there's public speaking or whatever. Then they classify public speaking worse than death or something like that. But like, for sure, that was me. And then when Tanya gave me the opportunity to host the Provider Collective, I'm like, this is my chance to get uncomfortable. And the first couple were pretty uncomfortable. But I got used to it and I started accepting the nerves and figured out that I just need to know my content and just speak about it. I can't plan this stuff. Like,
what I find really funny is my daughter has worked out that I do public speaking.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know what public speaking is. So she was telling one of her friends the other day when I was there that they were saying, what does your dad do? And she goes, he works in an office, because she knows that. But she was trying to be excited because I was excited about public speaking.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, my dad gets up on stage and tells jokes or he sings. Because in her head, the only person that gets up by themselves on stage is someone telling jokes or someone that sings. So obviously I'm either a comedian or I'm a musician, because public speaking is not a concept that children get. Like, I was like, okay, I'm happy to be a singer. Yeah, no worries, cool. You tell everyone that, it's fine. Just hopefully they only ask me to do that when I'm drunk at a pub, because...
It's funny, my kids have no idea what I do.
Yeah.
They're like, what are you doing going in that office? You recording a video, can I be a YouTuber?
Yeah.
I want to be, I'm like, oh, kind of, yeah, no. But...
I try to get my daughter, I've done a couple of videos with my daughter, just some of the stuff that comes out of her mouth. I'll never publish it. Yeah. But I just, it's so cute.
It's so cute. It's funny.
I'm just like, you are like the cutest human being I've ever met. Yeah. And I'm so happy that I get to experience these stupid things like, like some of the stuff she says, because she swears like a trooper, and because she just copies me and her mum, and we're both not, you know, we don't hold back in the way in which we speak. Not to each other.
You can tell they're little yous.
They're little us, and they say stuff, and you're like, oh, yeah, I said that. Yeah. That's my fault.
That's your mum.
I'm going to have to, that's your mum. Oh, I got, one day, our next door neighbour came up to me, and we're living in this farm. Next door neighbour came up to me and said, they're older, and they were like, I just want to say, I can't say what my daughter said, but your daughter said this. And she's like, you really have to be careful what you say around your daughter. And I was like, excuse me, 100% I swear, but I have a rule, I swear, I'll say something as an F situation, or I had a C of a day, but I will never ever direct a swear word at a person. I'll direct it a situation, situationally, but I'll never say you are this, or you are this. Okay. Because I don't think that's right. Yeah. And the comment she said was something that my wife would say whilst driving in a kind of road rage incident. And that's just not me.
Because I'm exactly,
and I was like, I have to tell you that was my wife. And they're like, I'm like, and my wife is this like quite timid little kind of beautiful woman. And I'm like, no, once you get to know her, you will understand that was her. That has nothing to do with me whatsoever. I had to like explain myself that I wasn't like the bad influence on our child. So
I was talking about kids and being ADHD parents and neurodivergent parents. I find that when I'm working, I get really fixated. So I don't know about you, but I do like 16-hour days. Like sometimes, like I'm getting better now at spending more time with my family, but definitely like I always kind of say I've got an addictive personality because once I get, like, I love doing YouTube videos and I love doing shorts and all that sort of stuff. But once I get on a tangent, I'm just like, brain works and building all these sort of things,
Yeah.
and I can't disconnect from it. And it's something that I'm working on at the moment, of being present with my kids, because even when I'm sitting with my kids, I need to be more present. Do you find that maybe a neurodivergent thing, or is that a dad thing in general? Entrepreneurs thing? I don't know.
I reckon it's all those things. So one of the ways that I control that is, I said about the 45 minutes being between work and home.
Yeah.
Which gives me a good separation. I also,
I work from home.
I don't, working from home's hard.
Yeah.
I don't, even when I could work from home, I went and got myself a little office at a shop up the road when I was working from home. Just
Been
so I had to
thinking about
divide.
it.
But the other thing is, I'm going to say I don't have Wi-Fi at home.
Okay. Wow.
So it really restricts my ability to get instant gratification from
That's extreme.
devices. Well, otherwise I just won't. Otherwise
Yeah.
I'll switch off.
Yeah.
And I know that, and it's not what I want to be. So I've made some really drastic changes. Like, I can still scroll.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But I'm not going to stream anything, or
Yeah.
it means, like, when a thought comes into your head and you go, I'll just Google it.
Yeah.
For me to just Google it, I had to, like,
Yeah, what did we do before?
the buffing time pissed me off, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't Google it. You know what I mean? Now I'm like, oh, it's going to take too long to upload. It's not like it's not instant.
Yeah.
So there's that. I had a friend whose dad was a truck driver his whole life, and drove trucks interstate across Australia. And I was speaking to him about being a dad. His dad's got ADHD and he's got ADHD as well. And I said, because he's talked about his dad being away a lot and being absent. And I feel like what you've just said is that because of all this, sometimes you're absent within the interaction, because you're so focused on work, so focused that you feel absent. Okay?
I know my kid feels it.
Yeah.
I know.
And what he said to me was, and this is something I've very much
kids.
taken, is that, and I'm not always the best of it, because I wish I was, but he said, my dad, no matter what we did at 6 o'clock every night, he would call us. No matter where he was in Australia, he would call us while we were having dinner, and he would have dinner at the same time. So he always had that baseline of having dinner with someone. And one of the biggest arguments me and my wife have ever had was that, because I last year spent a lot of time away, I love putting my daughter to bed. It's our time.
Yeah.
I sit
Nice
down, I
time.
read 2 books with her, because I can never get out of, when the kid comes home and you're like, what'd you do today? Nothing. You know what I mean? But then you read them the 2 books, they're laying down and they're like, can I tell you something? And they're like, today this and this, that real special
They're
time.
relaxed. Yeah.
I love that special time. And then, she lays there and I say, I'm going to leave in 5 minutes. She's like, can you leave in 100? And I'm like, no, I'm going to leave in 2. And she's like, how about 6? You know what I mean? Like that. But I make sure that I know that I'm going to get easily distracted. So what I do is I make sure if I've made a decision to be engaged, that I remove the other stuff. And I go, no, I have to engage with this period of time. I have to hyper-focus on this.
Yeah.
And I'll do things like put my mobile phone in the bedroom so it's away from me. Because I know if it's here, if it beeps, she'll be drawing and I'll be like, hey, blah, 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 and then I'm gone. I've just drawn this down. No worries. You know what I mean? So I try to make those conscious decisions.
Yeah.
But it's hard. I've had to make the big changes around turning off, there's no Wi-Fi in the house and being very far away from my office and home. So I have that breakdown.
Yeah.
But my daughter in my current office has a table so that when she comes into the office, she has her own space.
Yeah.
So, because the other thing is, I feel like kids might not know what we're going to do, but kids like to copy what their parents do.
Yeah.
So when I set up my office, I've got an up-down desk. I've got my daughter a little up-down desk.
Oh, yeah.
And she's got a little, she doesn't have an iPad at home or anything like that, but I had an old tablet. So when I'm typing on the computer, she sits there and types.
Yeah.
And she'll write notes to like people in the office and send them memos. And you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And so, because all she wants to do is copy me. She just wants
Yeah.
to be me. So I gave her a space so that if I'm working and she's there, she's working. You know what I mean? She's not trying to draw my attention. I've given her what she needs to succeed in that space as well. So maybe you need to set up a little podcast studio for your children that never goes anywhere next to them so they can just be like you. Because that's all kids want, man. They just want to be like their parents.
Yeah. And it's funny because, like, they are my why. They're the reason I'm doing 16 hours.
Yeah.
And then every now and then my wife and I go, we could literally sell our house and retire and just move to the bloody country into the sticks and just spend time with our kids. And you're like, no, we got to set an example. Like you just said, they're copying us. So us working hard, being entrepreneurs, business owners, all that sort of thing, that's what our kids are going to be. They're not, you know, they're going to copy us.
I made a decision when I was really young that I wasn't leaving the country till I was 30 for some reason.
Okay.
So I never left Australia till I was 30. I just was like, Australia's so big. I was retiring at 40. I'm now turning 42 this year. I probably didn't understand what retirement was, but I've just...
We're the same age.
Yeah, there you go.
Turning 42 in 2 days.
There you go.
Yeah.
In September.
Yeah.
But my retirement, I guess, at 40 is the fact that I don't do 16 hours a day anymore. Yeah. I made a decision to really restrict. So at 40, I made the decision that I'm really restricting the access of other people to me that aren't actually important people.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah.
Because you want to help people too.
I want to help, but I also think, look, there is a difference between. So I think you want to help people, but people also I feel like some people don't respect other people's time. And that's so, like,
Why didn't you respond to me immediately?
Pardon?
Why didn't you respond to me immediately?
Yeah, and also, like, it's after hours. That's, like, my time. Like, there's a video that I used to use in training that's from either Snap Fitness or one of those, it's a red fitness brand kind of thing, when they're training their internal PTs. And it's the trainer, and he says, I have no problem training you, okay? I'm going to teach you everything you need to know. But if you come to me with a question, I'm going to answer it. If you come back to me with the question another time, I'm going to answer it. But you have to understand, if I'm still answering that same question in 6 months' time, I've moved on to teaching something else. So when I'm answering that question, you're actually taking away from my personal time.
Okay.
And when you so every time you ask me a question, so I have a certain amount of work I need to do in a day, okay? So I'm managing an office at the moment. We've got, say, 20 people in our office team, our direct office team, right? So sitting underneath me. So I'm managing them. A part of my job is managing them, and a part of my job is doing tasks, okay? So if I have to manage them more than what I would normally have to manage them, it takes away from the tasks that I still need to achieve.
Yeah.
And I still need to do those tasks. So what that does is I work late. When I work late, it takes time away from my family. I have no problem helping you. But if you're disrespectful from the amount of time you're taking and you're doing this regularly, don't understand, yes, I get paid money. I get paid a lot of money to do what I do. But what you're actually doing is stopping me have access to my daughter.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's what, and I say that to...
That's definitely a mental switch.
Well, I say that to my team as well.
Yeah.
Like, because my team will be like, this is happening. Like, I've got a guy that is working as an operations manager at the moment. And he is the most lovely human being I've ever met. And he's come from a very big organisation where he had to explain leave all the time, like why he's going on leave. And he was like, oh, my daughter's got this on. I'm like, go. And he's like, I said, it's your family, man. Like, I will never, ever take away your family time. Because I'm an output person, so I'm getting the same output, don't have a problem. If you need to take the middle of the day and go take your daughter to an appointment, as long as I know about it from workplace, I don't care, because your family is more important than here. Like I might own this business, so to me this business is really important, but you're an employee. And it's not that, you should not be giving up your family for me. Yeah. It's different being, I think there's a difference between being an owner and being an employee.
Yeah.
And as owners and as senior management and executives, we need to embed the better work-life balance. And also, one of the other things I do is I worked with a lady once who she has ADHD. I worked with a lot of people with ADHD around management of their teams, and she'd be like, oh, I would get an email at 4 o'clock in the morning. And she'd be like, well, that's when I thought about it. And I said, actually, you know what that shows me? That you have very bad time management. And then they go, and your team feels that when you send it at 4 o'clock in the morning, they have to reply. You're actually pushing. So what you need to do is at 4 o'clock in the morning, because you're not expecting them to look at it till 9 o'clock when they start work. So I say,
exactly.
So all I said to her is all those emails you're going to send at 4 o'clock in the morning, put a time delay on them so they come at 9:30.
Yeah.
Because what it shows is that you have good time management.
Yeah, and they understand that.
And then they understand it, and people will start respecting your time. And when people start respecting your time, you start respecting your time.
Yeah, I'm in a tricky kind of balance or world, because when I actually do a lot of my work till like 1 or 2 o'clock at night, because that's kind of when my brain switches on. Like, it's weird. Like, I hate mornings. I can't get going, all that sort of stuff. And at night time, my family have always been, both of my family were police officers. They got home from shift work. Like, we'd eat at 10 o'clock at night as kids. And so my brain's just wired, or whether it's an ADHD thing, but things slow down, and that's when I can actually, it's like I don't have ADHD at that time. Things are just like, cool, I'm moving along.
But I think that if that's, so everyone's got a different pattern, but it's also understanding. So I never told that lady not to email at 4 o'clock in the morning. I said, if you don't want your team feeling like this, you as the manager need to do this. Like, that's your most productive time without a doubt. It's no problem. I was talking to a guy yesterday, and he rang me at like 11 o'clock last night because there was a problem with submitting a behaviour support plan into a portal, or I was so worried about it. And he said, we're not getting any help. And I said, it's 11 o'clock at night. I said, did the incident happen? No, there's no incident. We just have to submit the plan, a behaviour support plan. Why can't you do it tomorrow? He's like, what do you mean? I said, well, you need help, right? I don't work for the commission, so I can't help you. I can give you advice, and my only advice would be you need to call the commission. It's 11 o'clock at night. How are you going to submit that? Like, if it's a block, there's nothing you can do. Just give up and start tomorrow. I used to, one of the other things I have a big belief in, my wife used to say to me, she'll say, so you finished your day? And I'll go, no, I haven't finished. I've just given up. Because in theory, you get to a certain level where if you're focusing on finishing, you'll be working 24/7.
Well, that's where I'm at. Like, it never finishes, and I just can't stop. And I'm like, man, it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
So I've gone from the word finish to the word giving up. So I get to a point where I just give up for the day. And then the next day, I go back and start again. Because the realization was that I'm not going to finish. It's not going to be finished.
That list that we draw, it never finishes. That list, I don't think I've ever knocked off everything on my list. Like, it just, because tomorrow I'll write a new one. There's a couple more on the list. So,
I'm going to have to go in a second. So,
look, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. I appreciate it. I think people are going to get some value out of it.
We've got nearly an hour and a half of whatever that was. We apologise in advance for any misunderstanding that came across. So,
No, it's been awesome, man. Thanks so much.
All right, cool.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Peace out, man. See ya.
Now, what brings me joy is knowing I might have provided some value for you today and given you the tools to actually take away and impact change in somebody else's life. Now, I believe that small moments can affect change for someone forever. And maybe for you, change is here today in this video right here, right now. And I'm genuinely so grateful that you made it this far into the content. If you would subscribe, like, or comment, that'd be really helpful for me and my channel. And I give all of this sort of stuff away for free because I understand that you're as passionate about creating impact in other people's lives as I am. And I don't think this sort of stuff should be a secret. So would you like my help? My personal mentorship navigating the disability sector as an entrepreneur and a provider. I've been privileged enough to help hundreds of providers start their NGO's business, attract their ideal participants, grow, and do it all in the right way. So leave a message below, find me on Facebook, check out the links in the description, and if you would like a mentor or you would simply like some more information, please reach out to me. My name is Greg Chadwick, and together, let's keep showing up, let's keep growing, and let's keep building better supports.